Welcome to Pokemon Potential. I'm your host DeoGenZ, and today we're going to talk about the 4th gen slasher with a lot of special defense. It's Gallade. Now what's great about the 4th gen in general is that it introduced so many new evolutions to already familiar pokes and made them far greater. After all, this was the generation that we gained Gliscor. But hey, we're not talking about that guy today. It's all about Gallade and what this set can do. It's pure power. I mean, if you look at the effort values, you can say to yourself, well, it's pretty clear Gallade is a sweeper. But unlike most sweepers, which have no defense to speak of whatsoever, Gallade is thankfully granted good special defense due to its psychic typing, because let's remember before the 4th gen, all you could evolve into was a Gardevoir, and that had great special defense, and Curlia had significantly good special defense too. Psychic types in general tend to. So it keeps that, but it gains the dual typing of psychic fighting. And that's great because then you lose the weakness to dark types, that is, dark type of moves, and combined with the idea of having high special defense, and if you know what the ability Justified does, it's clear when you'll need to switch this Gallade in, if you're given the option. Now, what am I talking about? What am I rambling on about with this Justified and special defense combination ability and greatness with the resistance to darkness? How is that a thing? Well, Justified, what it does is when you're hit with a dark type move, you gain a +1 stage to your physical attack. Well, that's quite fortunate for you, since physical attack is what this set is all about, being fast and hitting hard. So right out on the field, Gallade will get a boost. If your opponent is smart and they don't want to lose their dark type poke, they'll retract it, and in that time you can use a free Swords Dance to further boost your physical attack 2 more stages. Now whatever else comes out onto the field will be met with a medley of this moveset, which you can mix depending on your preference and your striking powers. You can perhaps switch out the gains to hit points with Drain Punch for close combat. Use a Life Orb. Go all out! Maximize your punch ability. You can do that. You can mix in a Leaf Blade if, say, you're lacking a grass type move. However, Ice Punch, I feel, is indispensable, especially in the 6th gen. Now, the thing you gotta look out for with switching into a dark type move is that you're switching into a special attacking dark type move. I'm talking Dark Pulse kind of things. Night Slash, however, you will resist it, but with no investment into physical defense and having a low base stats as it stands at 65, it's not highly recommended. Now, what I would recommend in way of items to keep your sweeper maximized, and I'm not talking about maximum attack power because sometimes you really need to just depend on not getting status ailments, and the number 1 status ailment that will cripple this set would be a Thunder Wave. So in the way of prediction, say you're versing someone pretty skillful, so not only do they retract their dark type anticipating your fighting type move unleashed on them, but they switch into a bulky psychic wall supporting type poke that can then Thunder Wave you, use itself as a sacrifice, or do more supporting type annoyance on you, and then switch out to something even slower or far faster and far more powerful than Gallade. The problem with Paralysis is that it will make Gallade the lowest priority thing on the field, so it doesn't matter how much investments into speed you have once you're paralyzed. Even a Shuckle that's not inflicted with status ailment is faster than you. So that's why Lumberry is important. It cures any sort of status ailment, also will cure those burns, hypnosis attacks, anything that is launched your way, so it's very useful in keeping Gallade swift and slicing. So, speaking of which, let's move on to the next set. So maybe your style is to stall and you want to take advantage of Gallade's special defensive abilities, but you also want its physical defense to be a lot better than what it is off the bat. Well, this set will cover both of those desires because it has Bulk Up, Substitute, Drain Punch, and Psycho Cut. Now, what is so good about this combination is that you're still going to use the same strategy of switching in because the ability for Gallade is always going to be set to Justified, or always should be, so breed for that every time. But instead of using Swords Dance on the switch in, taking advantage of your opponent's fleeing Dark type, you're going to use Bulk Up, and this will boost your physical defense one stage and physical attack. So instead of getting 2 boosts or 2 stages, if you will, to your physical attack with Swords Dance, which it's still an option depending on how you want to play. You can mix up how health based you want this set to be. You can also divide its hit points, if you will, in 2 and spread it out amongst the physical attack, or you could do that with special defense. These are really just options, and things are still in testing as it goes for the X and Y metagame, so it's still up in the air as to what the best configuration is, but this will definitely give you the hardiest Gallade you can get, depending on effort value arrangements. Now, to mention, Knockoff is a good way to send back some of those psychic types and get rid of their obnoxious type items that will stall you further, like Leftovers, if that's the sort of thing that they're trying to accomplish. Now, why I've chosen the 2 moves I have, obviously Drain Punch because you want to keep getting your substitutes up as much as possible, but also Psycho Cut because if you see, you've got a dual stab option with this poke. So not only will you be maximizing your physical attack based on the switch in of Justified and based on the Bulk Up, but you'll also get a same type attack bonus because you're Psychic and Fighting type. Lucky Gallade! So that is how you'd function with set 2. It's all about defense, it's all about reboosting the health, and staying on the field for more play, so that's why Leftovers is included. But if you're the more risky type, but you want more attack, go for the Life Orb. Like I said, rearrange the EVs that you feel fit. This is just kind of some guidelines to go by. As for the last bits of the guidelines, let me just recommend, once again, the special tank formation of an Assault Vest combined with Gallade. This is an item only available in the 6th gen, so this is why I had to re-update what I spoke about on Pokemon of the Week. Back on Planet Poke, you should definitely check out that episode just to see how Gallade has changed in such a short time due to a couple of items. Now, for those of you not familiar, the Assault Vest will boost your special defense significantly, but it will lock you in to only using offensive moves. So that means no substitutes, no bulk ups, no Swords Dance, none of that. So definitely make sure that you absolutely switch in on a poke that is going to hammer on a dark type move. In this case, it might not be too bad to switch in on something that will be launching a physical dark type move, as long as it's not too damaging, because you will still resist it, or it will still strike normally. And with the Justified ability enabled, Drain Punch will do more damage to that poke, and your speed is set to the 44 effort values as it is, because it seems, based on Smogan analysis, that this is the just right amount to outspeed those uninvested 100 base stat speeded pokes. So that's a good amount of what's in the tier that Gallade will be facing, so it's good to invest in that. I would say don't worry about any investment in special defense because of that Assault Vest. It raises it so well that it won't matter. However, you have to keep in mind that similar to Snorlax, this special tank is only specially resisting special attack. Now, all these special words that I'm saying may not make sense, but let me break it down for you. If you're hit with a physical move, say, Wing Attack, yeah, I believe Wing Attack is physical, that will be not only super effective, but it will do more damage than, say, a Shadow Ball. Now, Shadow Ball is also super effective, but here's the thing about that. It's a special attack. you have special defense and physical defense. Those are the stats that you're looking at, and those are the things to consider when moves are being launched your way. Now, in the ways of prediction, it could really rely on how you know what each set is made to do. If you know a poke is very much physically offensive, you probably don't want to stick around for Gallade. The good thing is with this one, it doesn't really depend on any sort of boosts. It's not an all-out attacker. It's not trying to stay on the field either for a longer amount of time. It is just set up to be self-sufficient with the assault vest and come out when special attacks are being launched because it can absorb them much more than it can physical moves. So I hope I've cleared up some of the confusion with that, and we will explain more effort value training on the next episode. So make sure to share this for your chance to win a shiny every 10 episodes of this series. I've been DeoGenZ, and I will see you next week.